Hi everyone, it's Jamie here from anysoftwareyouwant.com, and in this video I'm going to cover the 10 most common SEO mistakes that beginners make. But first, why should you listen to me? So I've been doing SEO for over 15 years. I'm an executive VIP on the internet's largest SEO forum, and I've owned more sites, literally more sites than I can remember, and that's everything from small blogs to massive programmatically generated websites. Number one, no keyword research. Often people just create content about what they're passionate about, and that's great because if you're passionate about it, you probably know a lot about it, you'll create good content that has real value in it, people will link to it, that's good. But if you create content that nobody really wants to know about and nobody's searching for, then your blog it's not going to get the traffic that you want it to get. So always look at the volume and the competition, and I'll cover this a bit more now. So when I say volume, that is how many people are searching for what you're writing about per month. Sometimes it can be literally just 10 people, sometimes it can be 10,000 people. So you've got to make sure that there's a volume there, and you can use various keyword research tools to check how much volume there is per keyword. Moz has some, Ahrefs has some, and then also you want to look at the competition. So those tools will also tell you how authoritative is this domain or these other websites that I'm competing with. Because, for example, if you make a blog about getting cheap car insurance, you're probably not going to get any traffic because there's other huge websites that Google trusts more, and they're going to get all the traffic. Your page about cheap car insurance or whatever is probably not even going to be in the top 100 to begin with. So you need to go for keywords that have volume, some volume, but are also low competition. You're not competing with huge established websites. So sticking with our example of car insurance, if we take the number one page that's organically ranked on Google for car insurance from a UK search, we can see this is a really powerful domain. So it's rated 78 out of 100 by this SEO tool Ahrefs, which is probably the most popular one. You can see it's got almost 5,000 backlinks from 739 different websites. So it's an incredibly authoritative, popular page. So you're not going to outrank that page. So you need to start off with something more niche, like car insurance for a certain type of car or a certain type of person, something that has less volume but also has less competition. Most people on a new website, they typically start with long tail keywords, and long tail keywords are very specific long things that people are searching for. So a short keyword would be car insurance, a long tail keyword would be car insurance for over 70s, or car insurance for people with and then a certain type of illness or something. Those are long tail keywords because there'll be less competition for those, and they'll be easier to rank for. And then as your website gets more popular and it becomes more authoritative and more trusted by Google because more people are linking to it and sharing it, etc., and it gets to get more traffic, etc., then you can go for more competitive, shorter keywords that have more search volume. Number two, poor on-page optimization. So when we say on-page, we just mean what your page consists of, the page that you're trying to rank. So we're talking about the content, the HTML, everything on page. Off page would be things like backlinks and social shares and stuff like that. But often on-page optimization is overlooked, especially when people make content that don't know anything about search engine optimization. So we'll cover the really basic stuff here. So your titles of your page, are they the right length? Okay, if they're too short, Google might change them so that they're more, so that Google thinks they're more descriptive. And you don't really want Google to decide your titles, because that's a machine deciding your title. It's going to decide what your website looks like when someone searches for it on Google, and you don't really want that. You want to keep control over that. So you want to make sure your title tags are the right length. If they're too long, Google will cut them off. And the same for your description tags as well. So underneath your title on the website results, you want the description of your page to be the right length as well. And as well as being the right length, you want them to be really as enticing to the user to click as possible. You want to show to the user what your page is about, but also try and invoke some sort of emotion so that they click it, because on some search engines, and it's kind of a grey area on Google whether we know they do use it or not, but the click-through rate is a ranking signal. What that means is the more people that click your result on Google and go through to your website, sometimes Google can look at that and be like, oh, well, when someone searches for cheap car insurance, they always click this link that's result number 7. I think we should push it up higher, because it's obviously, good. If people are clicking it, it's obviously like what people are searching for. So that is possibly a ranking factor. It definitely is on some search engines. So try and increase your click-through rate. Something else that's often overlooked by people new to SEO is internal linking. So internal linking is a really easy, zero-cost, quick win. So if you've published a load of content and you've got one page which is sort of like your money page, like that's the page where your leads come from, that's the page where your sales come from, you want to link to that page as much as you can from your other pages without it looking weird or artificial. So you want to do that because whenever someone links to your website, something called link juice comes to it, and that's sort of like, it's almost like a water that sort of flows around the internet and goes from one website to the other through links. You can sort of think of it as like water flowing around, and the more popular websites, they get more links, so more link juice goes to those websites, and link juice is a really, really strong ranking signal. So the more links you have, the more backlinks to your website, the higher you're going to rank for pretty much everything. So when you get that link juice coming to your website, you can sort of spread it around your website using internal linking. So if you have a page that makes you more money, then you want to link to that page from your own pages, because you're sort of sending that link juice that you've got to that internal page. And also when you use a descriptive anchor text, so that's the text that the link's made up of, it helps describe to Google what that page is about. So if you link to that page with the anchor text of click here or more info, that's not very good, because it doesn't tell Google what that page is about. But if you link to it with the anchor text of car insurance or car insurance for over 70s or whatever your page is about, then that's another signal to tell Google what that page is about. Another quick tip here, alt tags on images. So whenever you publish an article and it has an image in it, there's a little tag, HTML tag you can include called an alt tag, and that allows you to describe to Google what the image is. Because Google, even now with AI, it doesn't always have an accurate understanding of what an image is on your page. And if you populate that alt tag, you're telling Google, you're helping Google understand what your images are about on your page. And finally, schema markup. So if you go to schema.org, you'll see there's a language that allows you to describe your web page in a lot of detail to Google. So you can say, this part of my web page is the article, this part of my web page is the review someone left, this part of my e-commerce website is the price. It allows Google to really understand your website, because without schema.org and schema markup, Google is trying to understand unstructured HTML. It's not consistently in the same structure for Google to reliably extract certain information from websites, such as product prices and user reviews and stuff like that. But if you use schema markup, you can easily describe to Google what each part of your website is, and then Google can understand that and use it, and it will often help you rank higher. Number 3, no sitemap. So this happens all the time. People publish loads of content and then they don't include a sitemap. So Google will normally find your page is okay because it will crawl from link to link, following all your links where your pages are linking to each other around your website, and it will normally discover most of your content. But sometimes pages can become they can have no internal links pointing to them, and they can become what we call orphaned pages, which we'll cover in a bit more detail later on. But those pages, if they don't have anything linking to them, then Google can't find them. But if you have a sitemap, then even if you for some reason forget to link to a page, or you remove a link to a page, then Google will still know where to find that page. It'll still know that it exists. So sitemaps come in XML format and text format. XML is better because you can include more information in there, such as the last time a page was modified, and how important that page is, etc. If you're unsure if you have a sitemap, normally if you're using WordPress, it will generate a file called a robots.txt file. So if you go to yourwebsite.com/robots.txt and open that up, you should see a text file that will contain a link to your sitemap, and that should show you a list of all your pages. And as I said, most CMSs like WordPress, they will generate it for you. Number 4, bad internal linking or no internal linking. So we have covered this already, but I really wanted it to be its own point, just to sort of hammer this in. Internal linking, it's free to do. You're not paying for links. It's easy to do. So yeah, just link to your own pages with descriptive anchor text, and the more important a page is and the higher you want that page to rank compared to the other pages you have, link to it more, because that'll be a signal to Google that that page is particularly important. Number 5, orphaned pages. So as we touched on slightly earlier, orphaned pages are pages that you have created, articles, blog posts, whatever, and then for some reason there's no other links on your website that link to them. Now, if you have a sitemap, that's not too bad because Google can still discover it, it can still crawl it. But if you don't have a sitemap, Google's got no way of finding it, and it can't rank a page that it can't find because it can't index it. So you want every page on your website to have at least one other link pointing to it. And it's not just a question of crawlability, because Google not being able to find the page if you don't have a sitemap isn't the only issue. The other issue is that if it can find it because of your sitemap, but there's no internal links pointing to it, that means there can be no link juice, no internal link juice from your own website flowing to that page. So that page won't rank very well if you don't have other pages pointing to it. Number 6, some people don't use Google Search Console. So Google Search Console, it's a product from Google. It's incredibly simple to install and use, and it allows you to see loads of really useful information about your website. It'll show you why pages aren't indexed in Google. It'll show you which pages are linking to you. It can show you any errors that are on your website when Google tried to crawl it and index it. It can show you a click-through rate over time, so that's how many people are searching for something related to your content and then clicking your content compared to other people's content. It can show you your website traffic over time, so you can compare it month to month. We'll take a quick look at an example now, but it's a really simple to install, simple to use, free product from Google, so there's no reason not to use it. So here's a quick example for a website, what it looks like. You can see over time the amount of people clicking through to our website. You can see impressions, click-through rate percentages, average position when people search for you at the top or the bottom of Google. It can show you loads of interesting things about pages, about why they're indexed or not indexed, etc. You can submit your sitemap here for Google to find it. Loads of really useful information. You can see who's linking to you. Yeah, very easy to use. Lots of useful information. Number 7, not using Google Analytics. So again, another product from Google, easy to set up, easy to use, and gives you tons of information. So Google Analytics is mainly for viewing information about website visitors. So that's how many you're getting, where are they coming from, how long are they staying. It's really, really useful. For example, if you have a sudden spike in traffic, you can look, is this because Google likes my site more? Is this because someone shared it on Facebook? Is it direct traffic from somewhere else? And then you can compare your progress of your website month to month as well. You can see, okay, last month I got 200 visitors, this month I got 400. So again, it's free, tons of useful information, and there's no reason not to use it really. And another really useful bit of information it can give you is your bounce rate. So that's what amount of people are landing on your website and then deciding that basically it's not what they wanted to see, and then they're bouncing off it. And it'll tell you your dwell time as well, so how long are people staying on your website or your web pages for. And you can filter down so that you can find all your web pages that have a high bounce rate and a low dwell time. So that's pages that people are getting to and they're not getting what they want from the page, and then you can take a look at why that is, and you can adjust it so that it's better for the users and so the content is better, etc. So number 8, not attempting to gain backlinks. So in the beginning, a lot of the time people just blog about what they're passionate about, or they make a little affiliate website, try and make some money, and they don't really focus on backlinks. But backlinks are one of the biggest ranking signals that there is, so you really want to get as many backlinks as you can, but they have to be good backlinks. So what is a good backlink? So a good backlink is when somebody links to your website from their website, and their website is a well-respected website that's getting a lot of traffic, it's got a lot of backlinks itself, and it's in the same niche as you. That is the ideal backlink. Now, those sort of backlinks are hard to get in the beginning, because why would someone link to your brand new website? You're not really sort of a trusted authority or a subject matter expert yet. But as your blog gets bigger, you will naturally get those backlinks. But you shouldn't just wait around for that to happen, because your competitors probably won't. So when you create an article, do some search engine marketing. Reach out to some people in the similar niche. Share your article. They might link back to it from their website. Build relationships with people that own similar websites to yours, and then you can do a guest post on their website, and they'll normally let you link back to your own website. You can reach out to places that have resource pages and try and get included on their resource page, on their links page. Those are good options in the beginning. I absolutely would not pay for backlinks as a beginner, because paying for backlinks is against the Google Webmaster Guidelines. And if Google is confident that you are paying for lots of backlinks to manipulate your rankings, they will de-index your website or give you some sort of penalty to suppress your rankings on Google. So in the beginning, when you're new to SEO, you're probably not going to know the difference between a good backlink and a bad backlink. So I wouldn't waste your money buying links initially until you know things like what does outbound link count mean, what is niche edit, what is link farm, what is PBN. Until you know all of that, I would not buy backlinks. Number 9, duplicate content. So a lot of the internet is actually duplicate content. So that's content that's the same. And you can have duplicate internal content and duplicate external content. So duplicate external content, that's content that's the same, that's shared between two different websites. Duplicate internal content, that's content that is shared between pages on the same website. So if you have a lot of duplicate internal content, Google might think that you have multiple copies of the same page, and it will de-index some of those pages because it doesn't want to index lots of copies of the same page. It's just a waste of resources for Google. So the next time you do an audit on your site, just check that you don't have loads of the same content scattered around your website. And I've actually got a free tool, it's currently free, that will check your website. It will scan every page, download the content, and compare it for duplicate internal content. You can find that on my website, along with about over 50 other tools for helping you grow your online business. You just enter your website here, configure the settings, and it will scan every page looking for duplicate internal content. And duplicate external content, obviously you don't want too much of that. It's fine to quote other websites, small sort of snippets or even a paragraph or two of text, that's fine. But Google's pretty smart at knowing when you're basically copying someone else's content, and they'll probably not prioritize you in the rankings if you have a lot of duplicate content that you've taken from other websites. And finally, number 10, not testing your website on mobile. So many people do this. They write a blog post on their laptop or their desktop, they publish it, they look at it, oh, this looks great, and then they completely forget that a lot of people are going to be looking at that article on their mobile phone. Now, I recommend that you test it on an older mobile phone, because a lot of the time people will test it, but they'll test it on their latest iPhone, whereas if you're in a niche, for example, medical insurance, something like that, where it's generally older people that are buying it, older people, generally speaking, don't have particularly fast phones. They're normally on some sort of old Android or something, so you want to test it on an older phone and make sure it's usable, because if you have lots of ads or a chunky theme, sometimes it can just be so slow that they'll just bounce off the page, and that will increase your bounce rate, which isn't a good signal to Google. And that concludes the video. I hope you've learned something, and as I said, please come to anysoftwareyouwant.com. I've got tons and tons of tools to help you grow your online business, and I've got thousands of happy users too. So as always, thank you for watching.